Hello, hello, hello. You're returning to the episode of TheWunderkindShow. Today's first topic, Nick Wright comes out with his Mahomes Mountain pre-training camp QB tiers. Look. Guys, now, there's a lot of people been coming out with tiers, rankings, lists. And now it's Nick Wright's turn. So we had just covered Warren Sharp's QB tier, which I love Warren Sharp. I was appalled at his list. Like, I was looking at it like, bro, hey, yo, you all right? Oh. You all right? Nasty work. Oh. Nasty work. But anyways, now we're going to break down the Nick Wright ones. Now, I don't like Nick Wright personally. You already know that. But I try to keep everybody up involved in the stuff that goes on and what is said. And I try to be a counterbalance to the foolishness, which he's usually spewing foolishness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the audio from my phone so you can hear it. And I'm going to show you exactly what it is, okay? So without further ado, let's hear who was on Mahomes Mountain, how it's ranked. And on top of it, I'll show you the picture there too, okay? Let's get this party started.
Bottom row of the mountain, 7th row. Kyler Murray, I think this is last year with the Arizona Cardinals, and I think that he's probably a Steeler next year. Just go ahead. Wow. Put that. Remember when I was trying to plant the seed that Cliff Kingsbury was prematurely on the hot seat? I'm good at long-term Cardinals predictions, oddly.
Isn't this Peg in Pittsburgh? They just recycle quarterbacks every season.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, and Kyler sounds good there. All right. Speaking of Pittsburgh, their current quarterback right next to him, Michael.
Hold on, Kyler on Pittsburgh would piss me off because I'm like, bro, you know how many teams could use it? Like, how would he just go to the Steelers? And this is what I'm saying. Everybody's like conditioned to send all the talent to the AFC North. Could you imagine if Kyler became the Steelers quarterback? Shedeur becomes what we think he can become, and you got Lamar and Burrow already there? Bro, let me get pissed off right now, bro. Let me continue. Let it continue.
To me, he might. I know he's not a rookie, but it feels somewhat like this is a rookie season. Obviously, for J.J. McCarthy, it feels just like his rookie season. Cam Ward, it is his rookie season. And then in the middle, Bryce and Justin Fields. For Bryce, he needs this year to not just be, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Seriously, like for him, he needs to actually show that there was real, forget being number 1 overall pick. Just first-round quarterback. And Justin Fields, by the way, similar situation. And so they're the bottom row. Row 6. I tried it as hard as I could. Wow. To get, and again, it's not left to right. It just happens to be that Caleb's the first person mentioned here. It's not left to right, guys. I really tried to get Caleb
it might
up
be left
above.
to right with Drake May.
No, ahead of Trevor's. That should prove it's not left to right having Drake May and Trevor. And honest to God, first edition of Mahomes Mountain, I did have Caleb a row higher, but then I decided I don't want to just have to argue with you guys all day about it, so I'm just going to leave him where he is. Fair. Drake May, Bo Nix, these are all year 2 guys. Trevor Lawrence, it's his second ever healthy year, so he's essentially a year 2 guy. Tua Tagovailoa and Wild's guy Sam Darnold, who I also, again, not left to right, but oddly enough, I did debate Kyler versus Darnold. Again, not left to right. All right, top 15 quarterbacks in the league, row 5. Justin Herbert, or as Danny Parkins calls him, the second coming of Dan Marino, and a clearly top 5 quarterback in the league. Jordan Love, Bruce X, is that fair? Used to be your guy, now you're more of a No guy. Like,
it's ridiculous.
I feel like.
I mean, yeah.
So now
X is fair. I mean,
this isn't a horrible list so far, but I'm saying his reasoning, some of it is bad. But it's not a horrible list right now.
Dak Prescott, Geno Smith, my guy, and Brew's real guy, Brock Purdy. Those guys, to me, are all in a similar... All similar tier. They're Brew's second tier is basically... Brew's got 3 tiers of NFL quarterbacks. Surefire future Hall of Famers, scrubs, and the rest of the league. That rest of the league thing is fluid, evidently.
I'll let you have your fun.
Top 10 quarterbacks, row 4. My guy, Matt Stafford, Baker Mayfield, who I
Baker
think at this
deserves
point has proven himself to be, I can't say consensus, but I think more people than not consider him a top 10 quarterback. Jared
Should've been a
Goff,
top
big year
10.
for Goff, and coach's guy, C.J. Stroud. Now to your top 6, the top 6 quarterbacks as we sit here today. Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and I will give Jaden Daniels the nod to
Everybody
that
seems to be
because
super high on Jaden Daniels,
while
but okay.
I think going into the year, Stafford is better than Jaden Daniels. I think Stafford, it's fair to assume, will get, is on the decline, and Jaden Daniels, it's fair to assume, is on the incline, ascent. Ascent is the way to put it.
Fair.
And so, but those guys would be close anyway. And then the top 3 to me should be universal: Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, and then the best quarterback in football, the guy who's been to the last 3 Super Bowls, and again, for some reason, he is judged against the best version of himself, and all the other quarterbacks are judged against the worst version of Mahomes, who they can't beat him either, except for Jalen Hurts did. There is the top of Mahomes Mountain.
Okay, guys, so you heard it all the way through. Now, let's break this down, okay? Do I believe Mahomes is the number 1 quarterback? No. I do not. I've said pretty clearly that, especially the last 2.5 years, Lamar's looked like the best player in football, hands down. I don't even know how you argue that. The MVP, 2-time, back-to-back first-team All-Pro. Yeah, he should have been He should have been a back-to-back MVP. But it was a back-to-back first-team All-Pro, 1-time MVP during that time. I mean, 13 wins, 12 wins. It's just in the hardest division in football. It is what it is. Josh Allen, I believe what he brings to the table, his physicality, puts him firmly at number 2. Yeah, I think Josh has been playing very well. He took toned down the turnovers, been able to, get other things going. Now with Patrick Mahomes, even though he's not shine bright like a diamond, he still shines bright nonetheless. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes, but he wins. And he wins regardless if he's playing amazing or whatever. He seems to be able to muster something at the end. Now, do I admit that the Taylor Swift stuff, the Rev stuff have played a major part? Yes. But once again, that plays into the context of why he wins. If he's getting help or whatever, that's the power that seems to be with him. So you got to put him top 3. Now you got Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Jaden Daniels. I got Hurts. I put Hurts at, of course, number 4. Burrow at number 5. And then, of course, I would have Jaden Daniels not there. If I was going to pick my 5th, I already told y'all what it would be, but my 6th would be either Baker or Goff. They're more like seasoned than Jaden Daniels. There's a strong chance that Jaden Daniels could have a sophomore slump. And now we're looking at him like how everyone was looking at C.J. Stroud, like, oh, he took a step back. Well, most guys, I brought it up this morning in the Wonderkid Morning Show, most guys take a step back in their sophomore. That's why it's called the sophomore slump. The only 2 guys in NFL history that I've seen that did not take a step back in their second year was Lamar Jackson and Dan Marino. Those are the only 2 when it comes to all the big-name quarterbacks. All the other ones took massive steps back. Massive steps back. Massive. Joe Montana, Tom Brady, all of them. So that's why I get into that. You know what I mean? I just got to look at that like we see what it is. We know what it is. And those guys, I think those are consensus. And you heard him say the top 3 should be a consensus type thing. You know who the best 3 guys are. I don't know how you argue it. I've been saying it for a long time. People are now jumping on board. Argue with your mama, not me. But I'm not going to lie. For as much as I dislike Nick Wright, this is a by far better list than a more respectable list than somebody that I do like in Warren Sharp. That's just being fair and honest. Like, this tier list is way better than what I've seen him put out. Because I couldn't believe some of the stuff. I couldn't believe it. We're going to get to see if Warren Sharp is right or not during the regular season. But this list right now looks way better. And I don't fuck with Nick Wright like that, but it looks way better than Warren Sharp's. You know what I'm saying? Just being real. Just being real. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with the Mahomes Mountain? Do you like the ranking in the tiers? Or do you say, nah, I don't like it, some stuff has to change? And who would you change? And where would you put them? Let me know what you think down in the comments, please, all right? But as always, that's the episode of The Wunderkind Show. Thank you for watching. And now we get down, we have fun and we laugh. But everything we talk about, rooted in what? Facts and truth. Please do remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment, guys. You know I love the comments. If you haven't already done so already, check out the Wunderkind Morning Show live Monday through Thursdays, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. Touch on all hot topics of sports, and we touch on current events, and we bring up a little bit of nostalgia at the end from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, guys. Be there, be square. It's very much worth it. Support that channel. Also, if you guys want to donate to the channel, help out with equipment and just stuff like that, bottom of the screen, QR codes to a Cash App. Cash App located in the description of every video that we do. Name of it is money sign, The Wunderkind Show. Super easy. But that's the episode of The Wunderkind Show. This show is not just signing off, and as always, you know my slogan. Peace. And I am out of here. Huh? Yer.